We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
Woo! I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl! Speaking of great players, I want to talk about the Pelicans and Zion's fit with them. So we both talked about how they're probably going to make the playoffs this year. They have a lot of talent. They had a lot of success in the play-in. It was fun to see. BI really came out. CJ's looking into his own. Valanciunas was good. But how does Zion fit on this team? Do you think he's going to fit in perfectly? Do you think there's some worries on this team?
I think my only worry is with like CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram, are they going to be able to still get their shots and figure it out? Like Brandon Ingram is a great ISO player. CJ McCollum's a great mid-range player. So ideally, hopefully they can still get to their spots. But do we believe Zion is a good enough passer to get the ball to them as well? Do we believe Ingram and McCollum are good enough passers where this team is going to have great ball movement? I worry about that. I worry about the ball movement on this team. I worry about the spacing. I don't know if the shooting is good enough on this team, but it's got a lot of talent. This team has a hell of a lot of talent. I really like the coach. I think, they can certainly figure it out. And when you have a guy as talented as Zion, you bring him into the team and you figure it out. He's the best player they have. And I think everybody else there should know that. So hopefully they can figure it out.
Yeah. I break it down to three issues. And this is really where the weight of what Willie Green says is going to carry in this locker room. This is where we hope there's no issues, that somebody's willing to take a step back, because somebody will have to take a step back. So the first concern is spacing. And obviously Valanciunas I'm pointing towards more. He's not a three-point shooter. He spends no time in the corner. 70% of his shots came within 10 feet of the basket. Only 3% came from a corner. So that's concerning. Granted, he's a center. You can't expect him to have that. But when you have a talent like Zion, that's really going to clog the paint, and that's really going to affect what's going to happen. I mean, I like the trade for Valanciunas. I think it's going to help in the long run. But that's something Willie Green's got to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Willie Green made some smart adjustments last year, but he's a young second-year coach now going into this season, and he's going to have some challenges ahead of himself. Some high expectations after they were able to make the playoffs, and they've got Zion coming back. I think he can figure it out, but there's definitely some high expectations for these guys.
Yeah, that's not as the most concerning as some people think it's going to be. I mean, he's still, like, Valanciunas is spreading the floor every season. He's shooting more outside of the paint, and maybe he could adjust that way, or maybe just spends less minutes on the floor with Zion and more as a point leading that backup team. But we'll see. My second is the usage rating. So Zion's usage rating from last full season he played was 79, so about 30%, and that's a lot for a big man. So let's look at the usage. So BI is similar, 30%. CJ, similar, 30%. And Valanciunas is 24, which is also huge for a big man, like I just said. Plus, Valanciunas led the team in possessions. So this is where this is one of the harder parts in Willie Green's job, because who deserves to have that ball? I think Zion's usage and Valanciunas should rightfully so get taken back. I mean, you can't have that much usage rating. I mean, obviously the math doesn't work out with Valanciunas in there because that was last season, and Zion's going to change it. Is Zion a good enough playmaker? The answer is no, not with the team. But BI is a better playmaker. CJ's miles better playmaker. Zion's assists 3.2 in the last full season, turnovers 2.7. That's not good turnover ratio. And I think, does he need the ball to be effective? I don't think he does. And I think CJ's really going to help that out. I mean, granted, he had Lonzo Ball when he had that usage rating, so it could be up and down. Granted, Lonzo's always out in injury. So I think that's certainly something that can be worked out, but that's something Zion's going to have to take a step back in, is his usage. Because I don't think he's the effective guy on ball they need.
I think he's efficient enough where you cut down on his usage, it's going to be fine. Like, he shoots a high percentage. He gets into the paint very well. So I don't think like that's as big of a deal. And with CJ McCollum, I think he should be your primary ball handler, as he can handle it. and he's able to score at that level, which is necessary in today's game. And it's going to open up things for your Zion when he cuts to the rim. And that guy can get up so high. Like, the alley-oops should be abundance at that point. Get him open, get some screens, get this guy going. He's a freight train when he goes down through the lane. So I don't see how cutting down his usage would make him a worse player. I think it would maybe make him smarter and hopefully cut down on the turnovers even.
Yeah, correct. That's right. I have CJ as their point guard going in next season with Herb Jones playing next to him as for perimeter defense. That's how and obviously the other three line up. But my last concern is shots taken. So Zion took 17 shots a game his All-Star season. This was last season, full season he played. CJ this last season took 19 shots. BI took 18 shots. Valanciunas took 13 shots. So the whole team last season, this is without Zion, took 88 shots. And the team, their big four will take up 67 shots, right? That's 76% of the shots come from 4 players on their team, and that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. So who's going to take back shots? I'm looking at CJ. I'm looking at Valanciunas. I think BI might take a shot less per game, but CJ's going to see a hit. Valanciunas is going to see a hit, especially with the spacing, referring to Valanciunas. I think Zion will keep. I think they should keep him around 17 shots. That's great. If not more. Him and BI should not change. 17, 18 shots. CJ, 19 shots isn't going to cut it. Obviously, it depends on the game, spacing, etc.
I totally agree. I mean, CJ is going to need to become more of a facilitator role with your traditional point guard next year who has those scoring abilities. So he's going to hopefully find himself in more open opportunities to still get his points, and hopefully, cutting down on the shots isn't going to mess up with his game too much.
No. I think he was well aware that when he got traded this team, that was the expectation. I think he only shot 19 because obviously he knew, and the team knew Zion was out. I think that was his expectation coming. And I know CJ is a very humble guy. He's not a big personality in the locker room. So I think
he's excited. He's fine with taking that step back because you get to play with a guy like Zion and a guy like Brandon Ingram. And those are fun players to play with. He just spent 6 seasons with the Blazers, and he was with Damian Lillard the whole time. Lillard got plenty of shots, but now he gets to do something new. He gets to play with some better big men rather than a great point guard, and he gets to be more of that primary ball handler. So I think, he should be rejuvenized in that and be excited about the opportunities that's going to present, because I think you give me a choice of which team I'd rather have right now between the Pelicans and Blazers, I would absolutely take the Pelicans. Going forward the next 5 years, I would way rather take what they got than the Blazers.
Oh yeah, miles better. I think they're going to be one of the most versatile offenses, assuming everyone gets on page. I think it's going to take some bit too. I don't see them coming right out of the blocks fast, especially if Zion plays the first day. But certainly, I'm excited to see what this team looks like on the floor. I think Zion can fit. They have a lot of work to do and a lot of changes to make for him to fit. He can't just jump into this team and they're going to run off the blocks. I think Willie Green has a lot of work in front of them. I don't doubt Willie Green can do it. He's a very impressive head coach.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll see where they go. We talked enough about Zion's fit with the Pelicans. I think we're excited to see how that goes. But all right, guys, that was strictly ball business, and we loved hearing you.